Welcome to another episode. In today's episode, we will be seeing about immortality. Man always wanted to be immortal. He has invented so many things and ideas to assume a sense of immortality. He has built houses, cities, has taken up a life which looks like he is never going to die. But that never happens. Mortality is always there, lurking behind the corner. He has invented reincarnations, life after death, heavens, hell, whatever it is. And the science on its part tries to find out what is immortality. So let us see today about the scientific view, the spiritual view of immortality. O mind, what are you searching, inside and outside? It is one only. It is the concept that makes you feel inside and outside. Once the earthen part bearing the name Nanak is broken by getting rid of the concept that I am the body, where is inside and outside? It is I only prevailing everywhere. This is by Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak is a great spiritual teacher. Then we will see the scientific view of immortality. Ray Kurzweil, whose book Singularity is Near, the quotes are from that. He is an expert in singularity. In the age of spiritual machines, that is ASM, Age of Spiritual Machines, which I wrote in 1998, I sought to articulate the nature of human life as it would exist past the point where machine and human cognition is blurred. Imparting merger of our biological thinking with the non-biological intelligence we are creating. I describe myself as a patternist, someone who views patterns of information as the fundamental reality. For example, the particles composing my brain and the body change within weeks, but there is a continuity to the patterns that these particles make. What is the singularity? It is the future period during which the pace of technological change will be so rapid, its impact so deep, that human life will be irreversibly transformed. The key idea underlying the impending singularity is that the pace of change of our human created technology is accelerating and its powers are expanding at an exponential pace. The exponential growth is deceptive. It starts out almost imperceptibly and then explodes with unexpected fury. Unexpected, that is, if one does not take care to follow its trajectory. Computers are diagnosing electrocardiograms and medical images, flying and landing airplanes, controlling the tactical decisions of automated weapons, making credit and financial decisions, and being given responsibility for many other tasks that used to require human intelligence. The performance of these systems is increasingly based on integrating multiple types of artificial intelligence. The brain suffers from severe limitations. We use its massive parallelism, 100 trillion interneuronal connections operating simultaneously, to quickly recognize subtle patterns, but our thinking is extremely slow. The basic neural transactions are several million times slower than contemporary electronic circuits. That makes our psychological bandwidth for processing new information extremely limited compared to the exponential growth of the overall human knowledge base. Before the middle of this century, the growth rates of our technology, which will be indistinguishable from ourselves, will be so steep as to appear essentially vertical. From a strictly mathematical perspective, the growth rates will be finite, but so extreme that the changes they bring about will appear to rupture the fabric of human history. That at least will be the perspective of an unenhanced biological humanity. The singularity will represent culmination of the merger of our biological thinking and existence with our technology, resulting in a world that is still human but that transcends our biological roots. There will be no distinction post-singularity between human and machine or between physical and virtual reality. Although the singularity has many phases, its important implication is this: our technology will match and then vastly exceed the refinement and suppleness of what we regard as the best of human traits. So, my own interpretation or views on this, I'll tell you now. What are these best human traits? Who is going to decide that? If people are able to have that kind of refinement, why is there such a mess in the world at present? Then Epoch 3 of 6. Ultimately, our own species evolved the ability to create abstract mental models of the world we experience and to contemplate the rational implications of these models. We have the ability to redesign the world in our own minds and to put those ideas into action. A billion years ago, not much happened over the course of even 1 million years. But a 250,000 years ago, epochal events such as the evolution of our species occurred in time frames of just 100,000 years. In technology, if we go back 50,000 years, not much happened over the 1,000 year period. But in the recent past, we see new paradigms such as the World Wide Web, progress from inception to mass adoption, meaning that they are used by a quarter of the population in the advanced countries within only a decade. Looking ahead several decades, the singularity will begin with the fifth epoch. The fifth epoch will be enable our human machine civilization to transcend the human brain's limitations of a mere 100 trillion extremely slow connections. The traditional strength of human intelligence include a formidable ability to recognize patterns. The massively parallel and self-organizing nature of the human brain is an ideal architecture for recognizing patterns that are based on subtle invariant properties. Humans are also capable of learning new knowledge by applying insights and inferring principles from experience, including information gathered through language. A key capability of human intelligence is the ability to create mental models of reality and to conduct mental what-if experiments by varying aspects of these models. The traditional strength of machine intelligence include the ability to remember billions of facts precisely and recall them instantly. Another advantage of non-biological intelligence is that once a skill is mastered by a machine, it can be performed repeatedly at high speed, at optimal accuracy, without tiring. Perhaps most important, machines can share their knowledge at extremely high speed compared to the very slow speed of human knowledge sharing through language. As virtual reality from within the nervous system becomes competitive with the real reality in terms of resolution and believability, our experiences will increasingly take place in virtual environments. We will determine our own fate rather than have it determined by the current dumb, simple, machine-like forces that rule celestial mechanics. The computational capacity of a human brain, according to Hans Moravec's legendary roboticist at Carnegie Mellon University, analysis, the retina performs 10 million of edge and motion detections each second. Based on his several decades of experience in creating robotic vision systems, he estimates that the execution of about 100 computer instructions is required to recreate each such detection at human levels of performance, meaning that replicating the image processing functionality of this portion of the retina requires 1000 million instructions per second, or MIPS. The human brain is about 75,000 times heavier than 0.02 grams of neurons in this portion of retina, resulting in an estimate of about 1014, that is 100 trillion instructions per second for the entire brain. If you want to upload a particular person's personality, that is capture all of his or her knowledge, skills and personality, then we may need to simulate neural processes at the level of individual neurons and portions of neurons. For this, we need to look at detailed models of individual neurons. The fan-out number of interneural connections per neuron is estimated at 103. With an estimated 1011 neurons, this is about 1014 connections. With the rest of the time, 5 milliseconds, that comes to about 1016 synaptic transactions per second. Neuron model simulations indicate the need for about 103 calculations per synaptic transaction to capture the non-linearities, that is complex interactions, in the dendrites and other neuron regions, resulting in an overall estimate of about 1019 CPS for simulating the human brain. That is, CPS is cycles per second, for simulating the brain at this level. We can therefore consider this an upper bound, but the 1014 to 1016 CPS to achieve functional equivalence of all brain regions is likely to be sufficient. By mid-2040s, however, that $1,000 worth of computation will be equal to 1026 CPS. So the intelligence created per year, that is at a total cost of about $1012, will be about 1 billion times more powerful than all human intelligence today. That will indeed represent a profound change, and it is for that reason that I set the date for singularity, representing a profound and disruptive transformation in human capability as 2045. Our ability to reverse engineer the brain, to see inside, model it and simulate its regions is growing exponentially. We will ultimately understand the principles of operation underlying the full range of our own thinking, knowledge that will provide us with powerful procedures for developing the software of intelligent machines. There are no inherent barriers to our being able to reverse engineer the operational principles of human intelligence and replicate these capabilities in more powerful computational substrates that will become available in the decades ahead. The human brain is a complex hierarchy of our complex systems, but it does not represent the level of complexity beyond what we are already capable of handling. The principal assumption underlying the expectation of the singularity is that non-biological mediums will be able to emulate the richness, subtlety, and depth of human thinking. And my own notes are thinking about this. Ray Kurzweil, who grew up in New York, the man who is lauded as the restless genius, the ultimate thinking machine, rightful heir to Thomas Edison, and one of the world's leading inventor, thinker, entrepreneur, futurist, with a 20-year track record of accurate predictions, what does he have in common with Nisargadatta Maharaj? He is born as Maruti Shivram Pant Kambli who had little or no education and lived a humble life in the Indian city of Mumbai. It is immortality. Ray Kurzweil wants to achieve immortality through machines, through thinking, through singularity, but the same thing is achieved by Nisargadatta Maharaj. The normal human living is a series of events, experiencing of the events and interpretation of the events, recording and recollection of the events. Life has become so mechanical that Ray Kurzweil is right in thinking that this process can be done better by machines. But is life merely experiencing and recollecting? No, there is something more to it. It is pure consciousness. Ray Kurzweil misses the whole point, which Nisargadatta Maharaj, Ramana Maharishi and likes of them were able to see. Transcendent man is the man who goes beyond his memories and not the one who can retain his memories for indefinite period. So let us see further, read further, see further, listen further to see what is real immortality. So then we will see what Nisargadatta Maharaj says. A true devotee, by abiding in the knowledge of I am, transcends the experience of death and attains immortality. The state before birth is even now, and even now, because it is before time itself. Before time, in the guise of becoming, emerged as a tyrannical concept that rules our life and enslaves us. It is the changeless reality from which all change has sprung, space, time, and the entire world of experience, and all our cherished illusions. We live essentially for the waking state. In this, we do things as doer, working towards our imagined security and happiness, in the process gathering more experiences. Ultimate reality is a kind of a nothingness or emptiness, an eternal stillness, rather than a continuous movement and activity towards some useful end. Even the highest is useful to the highest. The Parabrahman, absolute, it lies beyond both duality and non-duality. It is prior to space and time. It is the absolute ultimate. And what one is for, there is no longer anyone or anything, not even the consciousness to experience it. What do you mean by death? A common word, common parlance. The faith I am has disappeared. The confidence that I am is gone. That is death. Once you have transcended the body idea, it does not matter whether you live a short or long time, whether you do or you, whatever you do, you think about something which is not you. Even with a noble thought like God, which is still conceptual and therefore apart from yourself. During your life, you have accomplished so many things. You had so many identities, and that understanding has left you. Finally, what identity will you die? With what identity will you die? Who has entered the space from? The space is outside. The space is here also. There is no distinction between outside and inside space. It is all space only. So where is the question of coming and going? That is birth and death. Beingness means that having a vision that one is the entire dynamic universe. When one transcends individuality, one is manifest beingness only. In this process, the manifest reveals itself. The creation takes place through mind and concepts. Through the beginning in one's mind, his world is created. The knowledge I am or beingness is illusion only. Therefore, when Brahman is transcended, only the Parabrahman, that is, Brahman is beingness and Parabrahman is absolute. In a way, both are same. Is in which there is not even a trace of the knowledge I am. Beingness is a superimposition, a cloak of illusion over the absolute. In other words, beingness, which is the very first and primary concept I am, is itself conceptual illusion. The whole universe manifests in that principle, which is termed beingness or birth. People take birth and die in the play of consciousness. Many masters, spiritually highly evolved people, and great incarnations have come and gone, but none could bring about even a little change in the process of creation, preservation, and destruction. The great drama goes on. First there was no message I am, and also there was no world. Instantly the message I am and this magnificent world materialized out of nothingness. The creation is spontaneous. Tattvamasi, I am that. The word that refers to everything that is totality. The beingness prompts you to think I am like this, I am like that, is illusion. That is fraudulent. I am that by which I know I am is called Charan Mitra, or the nectar. By drinking this nectar, one becomes immortal. Thus, a true devotee abiding by the knowledge, realization I am, transcends the experience of death and attains immortality. We identify with the body as ourselves and claim the objects as our own. Attachment is the nature of the mind, and it obstinately persists in these attachments. Once you subside into the consciousness, the factual state of reality shall be revealed to you with the knowledge that will emanate out of you intuitively, like spring water. This will enable you to discern what is real and unreal, but most importantly, to realize what I am. At present, you meekly accept whatever the mind dictates as your own. If the mind goes into silence, where and what are you? Abidance in the consciousness removes all past and future problems and stabilizes one in present. Even in the pure knowledge, Suddha Vijnana state, the mind refuses to believe that it is non-entity. All paths lead to unreality. Paths are creations within the scope of knowledge. Therefore, paths and movements cannot transport you into reality, because their function is to enmesh you within the dimensions of knowledge, while reality prevails prior to it. On death, the consciousness does not go anywhere, merely its functioning through the dead body is extinguished. Then and there, and pure dynamic Brahman remains unaffected. Birth and deaths are hearsays. Everybody is trying to protect time and preserve the time factor, that is consciousness. So long as time is there, consciousness is there, and time is there as long as body is present. A person is normally engaged in activities that may be considered good or bad, but are actually just mental occupation. Once you realize that you are not the body and the mind, you have no needs and demands, then you are one with the manifest consciousness. In due course, you are not even the consciousness. When you dwell in the highest, thus ultimately transcending the consciousness. Once established in the Absolute, there is no longer any use for the knowledge of the Absolute. What can be the use of Absolute to Absolute? Therefore, I, the Absolute, do nothing and need nothing at this stage of body-free state. That is called Videhi Sthiti. There is no high or low, no real or unreal, no inside nor outside, and no dimension in any kind of state. Then let us see what Ramana Maharishi says. Common man is aware of himself only when modifications arise in the intellect. These are transient, they arise and set. When pure awareness is left over, it is itself the Supreme. So, this is a pretty long lecture we had, discussion we had, because it is an important topic, critical topic, difficult to understand topic about immortality. Because what we see, everything is mortal. In our eyes, everything is mortal, not immortal. But behind all this, the force which is there behind all this is immortal. That is what we see, the immortality. To stay with me for another episode, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.